Segunda Katigbak, Rizal's First Love. Jose Rizal was only a young boy of 16 when he first fell in love, and it was with Segunda Katigbak, a girl from Lipa, Batangas, and 2 years his junior. According to Rizal, she was rather short, with eyes that were eloquent and ardent at times and languid at others, rosy-cheeked, with an enchanting and provocative smile that revealed very beautiful teeth in the air of a silk. Her entire self diffused a mysterious charm. Rizal went to Trozo, Manila, one day to visit his grandmother. His friend Mariano Katigbak accompanied him. Mariano's family were close with Rizal's grandmother, and upon arrival at Lipa, Mariano's sister Segunda was there at the old woman's house along with other guests. Rizal was drawn to her instantly. Unfortunately, Segunda was already engaged to be married to her townmate, Manuel Luz, and although Rizal had gotten hints of the lady's affection for him, he timidly decided to back away and did not propose. Years later, Segunda returned to Lipa and wed her betrothed, leaving a frustrated Rizal to the mercy of his nostalgic memories. Rizal said while recording his first romance 3 years later, "Ended at an early hour my first love. My virgin heart will always mourn the reckless step it took on the flower deck abyss. My illusions will return, yes, but indifferent, uncertain, ready for the first betrayal on the path of love." Leonor Valenzuela, Private Letters. When Rizal was a sophomore at the University of Santo Tomas and was boarding in the house of Doña Concha Leiva in Intramuros, he met Leonor Orang Valenzuela, his next-door neighbor and daughter of Capitan Juan and Capitana Sanday Valenzuela. She was a tall girl who carried herself with grace and elegance. Rizal was always welcome at the Valenzuela home. He eventually courted Leonor by sending her love notes, which he wrote in invisible ink made from a mixture of water and table salt. He taught Leonor how to read his letters by heating them over a lamp or candle to allow the words to surface. Unfortunately, as with his first love, Jose failed to ask for the lady's hand in marriage. Gertrude Beckett, Chiseled Beauty. In May 1888, Rizal visited London for a short time, boarding the house of the Beckett family, Mr. and Mrs. Beckett, their 2 sons, and their 4 daughters. The eldest daughter was named Gertrude. Gertrude was a buxom young lady with blue eyes and brown hair. She fell in love with Rizal and gave him all of her attention during the family picnics and gatherings. When Rizal stayed indoors, during rainy days, painting and sculpting, she helped him mix his colors and prepare his clay. Rizal withdrew before his relationship with Jetty could become more serious, realizing that he had a greater mission to fulfill and that in order to accomplish it, he could not yield to the option of marrying her. Leonor Rivera, The First Engagement. Leonor Rivera was a young lady from Camiling and a cousin of Jose Rizal. Leonor's father had provided room and board in Casa Tomasina, Intramuros, for Rizal when the youth was still starting his third year at the university. The young girl was then a student at La Concordia College, where Soledad, Rizal's little sister, was also studying. Leonor was tender as a budding flower with kindly, wistful eyes. She and Rizal eventually became engaged. In her letters, she signed her name as Timis in order to hide their intimate relationship from the girl's parents. In the autumn of 1890, however, Rizal received a letter from Leonor telling him or her coming to her marriage to a man whom her mother chose to be her mate, an Englishman. Consuelo Ortiga y Perez, A Sacrifice for Friendship. In 1882, when Rizal was a student at the Universidad Central de Madrid, he frequented the home of Don Pablo Ortiga y Rey, the former city mayor of Manila. He lived with his son Rafael and his daughter Consuelo. Rizal, though he wasn't a handsome man, possessed a great deal of charisma and was gifted with many talents and a deeply noble character. For this reason, it is of no surprise that Consuelo, the superior of Don Pablo's daughters, was very taken with him. Being lonely and somewhat isolated in a foreign country, Rizal found comfort in Consuelo's vivacious company. He wrote her a poem entitled A la Señorita Co-EP, the Miss Coyp, in which he expressed his great admiration for the lady. Osei-san, Love at First Sight. When Rizal was in Tokyo a few days after he had moved to the Azabu district in 1888, he spotted a pretty Japanese girl walking past the Legion Gate. He was captured by the lady's regal air and charisma, and endeavored to find ways to meet her. The girl's name was Seiko Usui. She lived with her parents and often took afternoon walks by the Legation. Rizal waited by the gate one afternoon and introduced himself. Rizal and Osisan, as he fondly called her, met almost daily. But Rizal, however, had set his sights on other matters. He decided to leave Japan and forget his romance, which pained him gravely as attested by an entry in his diary. His 45 days sojourn in Japan was one of the happiest interludes in his life.